Okay, guys, I thought I'd come on today and I'd talk about a few things that bother me. Something that really annoys me is these fake, kind of overly nice people that come on the internet and that talk about things, because it can actually get people in trouble, and not the person that's talking. It can actually get the person that's watching in trouble. In the case of Japan, and in the case of America too, it's kind of really annoying, is if you say anything bad about the country, about things that are going on in the country, and about things that people are doing, if you say anything bad about Japan, you get this mob of people coming on your site trying to be apologists for anything that is being done in that country. And they don't want to take the criticism. And when people get on the internet and they watch things about Japan and they get this I don't know what you want to say, like a fuzzy feeling about Japan and how great it is and how wonderful it is, and then they end up coming here and they find out that all the shit that they were told on the internet isn't true. And in some cases, many people come here because of what was said on the internet and do English teaching and end up working for a company and getting taken advantage of. And these people that get on the internet don't tell these guys this, and they end up actually trying to convince people that it's a rare thing when it's actually not. And the fact is these companies are involved in Japan trying to make as much money as they can and trying to use foreigners as much as they can to make a profit. And one of the best ways to make money in Japan is to have an English school. So if you're a Japanese person and you have an English school and you hire foreigners, you can do a lot of stuff to them, and there's very little laws that dictate what they can and can't do to you because you're a foreigner. And if you don't like it, you can leave. So that's kind of where they leave it at. And these people will get on the internet and tell you, oh, it's so great, it's wonderful, you should come here, and everything's great and everything's awesome. And very rarely do they tell you the truth. And my job, I believe, is to tell you the truth, tell you what's really going on. And if I get hate, I get hate, but I don't really care either way. And my job is designed to try to make you guys understand what's really going on over here. And I kind of pull back the curtain to Oz and show you what's the real case and the real reason for things going on here. And I feel that's kind of what I'm on the internet to do. And so you won't see me pull punches. You won't see me talk really nicely about things unless there's a reason to do so. If I see something that's a problem, then I'm going to point it out. Now, I'm also going to be speaking about a vegan woman today, because I put her on here a few weeks ago, and the problem that we have that you guys have in America is that you have a very big problem with bullying. And typically the bullying is brought about by things that children learn from their parents. Racism and hatred, and when they're driving in the car and their mom is yelling at people and looking at some girl on the street saying that girl looks like a fucking slut. The kids hear that, and then they go to school and they say those things to other kids. Now, the same girl that I'm talking about is she actually lives in Miami, and she is one of these typical girls that us MGTOW like to talk about. She's a really richy girl driving around in her husband's car that her husband paid for. She's a yoga instructor. She has 2 kids. She lives in his house, drives his car, and you can tell by the way she talks that she's had very few problems in her life, and that she's raised by a silver spoon. And she's teaching her children that fat people are like bad, and like she's a vegan and so are they. She's teaching them to be vegan, but she's got both these kids speaking about people in a very horrible way, and she's a very, very bad mother teaching the children like this. And she's just uppity, and you know, I don't know why anybody would think that teaching your children this way is a good thing. You know, it's all right to teach. That's one thing I think about with veganism. I've talked about veganism before like this. When you have vegans that act very uppity and act like everything you're doing is, you know, like if you're eating meat, then and you're sitting at the table, and every time somebody picks up a bite, you just give them a snarly look, and you know, you have snarky comments for them every time they ask you about food or something like that. It makes, first of all, you're not going to have very many friends. Second of all, people don't want to deal with that. You know, that's not something people want to deal with. So I'm going to play you some of this video, and we're going to do some commenting on it.
So what did you guys think about the new pediatrician?
She was overweight. She said smart things, but she was overweight, and that's not good. She was telling us about a good diet, and she was telling the truth, but she was overweight herself.
So I'm like, why am I listening to a fat lady?
Yeah. Why am I listening to a fat lady? This is something that a child is saying that's probably 8 or 9 years old. Where do you think she's learning this stuff from? You know? And what do you think this child is doing when they go to school, when their mother is teaching them these kind of things? These are, you know, especially you see that the boy is saying stuff, but you can tell by the way he's looking, he doesn't want to really say the stuff. But the girl, you know, she's a typical little girl. You know, mom's telling her all this stuff, and she's just spouting it off like it's the best thing in the world. And they're acting like it's not that big of a deal to talk this way, you know, and to say these things about other people, you know.
We just had our first appointment with the kid's new pediatrician here in Miami. And I selected this doctor based on a recommendation of a friend who knows how I am and knows that I would like a pediatrician who's a little bit more on the holistic side. And she definitely fit the bill. When we got to the appointment, walked in, and there's like a wall hanging of like Ganesha on the wall in the waiting room, and there's like Om symbols all around it. And when I was checking in at the front desk for my appointment, like somebody in the background opened up a medicine cabinet, and I saw like all these homeopathic remedies, and she shares an office with a homeopath. And so I felt comfortable right away, and I thought that was great. And the first thing that the doctor said to my children when she came in was she gave a speech about nutrition, and basically just drilled it into them repeatedly how important it was for them to eat properly, to get their fruits and vegetables in. And she even explained to them, look, you're young now, and so things are fine now, even if you feed yourself crap. But when you get a little older, if you're feeding yourself junk, you're gonna fall apart. You know, but if you feed yourself good now, your body's going to work really well. And it was just such a great speech, and she was so absolutely like reiterated everything that I tell them on a daily basis, and I was so encouraged by that, and I thought it was so wonderful.
Of course, the only hiccup is she was really overweight.
You know, you can see just by the way she speaks that she is completely oblivious to other people. You know, like in my case, I'm a vegan, but I'm overweight. And I'm overweight not because I eat meat. I'm overweight because I haven't worked out. Since I came to Japan, I've been having a lot of trouble. And I was riding my bike every day in America, doing like 20 or 30 miles a day because I was riding to work and I was riding to college and I was doing all that stuff. And since I've came here, I really haven't rode my bike much. And then this summer, it was freaking hot as a motherfucker over here with like 80% humidity almost every day. And even at night, it was like 80 degrees at night and there was still like 80% humidity. So it was freaking hot. So I just didn't ride my bike this summer. So I've gained a lot of weight because of that. But to act like somebody that knows a lot about nutrition, that says all the right things, and is trying to instruct these children how you should think about eating, because as a child, like she said, you can eat almost anything you want as a child, but as you get older, it's going to be harder for you to lose that weight. And it's also going to be more detrimental to your health as well as you get older. The more meat you eat and the more things like that you eat. So by her saying all this, it sounds great, you know, and then she has to cap that off by saying, yeah, but she was overweight, you know. So she takes her to this pediatrician that obviously probably costs shit tons of money to go to, that her husband is probably paying for. And then now all of a sudden, it's a problem to take her to this place that it was really hard for her to find in the first place. This, holistic health practitioner, and somebody that believes in veganism. It was really hard for her to find this place, and she's gonna not go to this place because this woman is overweight. You know, it makes us look bad as vegans, because this is, when people think about veganism, this is what they think about. And it makes vegans look bad to have people talk like this and to speak like this about other people and to act like you're above everyone else. You know, I don't feel I'm above everybody else because I don't eat meat. For me, it's just about knowing that I'm not a graveyard, you know. My body's not a graveyard, you know. I like to put living things in my body, not dead things. So I like to eat salads and grains and things that are you know, alive, still living. And I like to eat healthy, you know. And even though I've gained a lot of weight, it's mainly I don't eat anything that has to do with anything that's not veganism. I just don't work out, and therefore I eat a lot of carbs, and I sit on my butt. So you gain weight like that. And it's not a problem for me, because anytime I want, I can go out and start riding my bike, and you know, after a couple of months of riding my bike, I'll start losing weight. And after about a year of riding my bike 20 or 30 miles a day, I'll be back down to where I was. And that's the way I've been my whole life, and that's part of being vegan. So I'm not really that worried about it, you know. But to speak this way, I mean, she's talking this way, and in the back seat are her two kids. She's talking to the camera, and in her back seat, her two kids are sitting back there listening to what she's saying. And it's you know, people are trying to stop the bullying and stop people from bullying people and stop getting people to treat people really horribly, you know. And all these school violence and all these bullies in school beating kids up and stuff, there's only one reason they do this stuff. They learn this stuff from their parents. And when you have a mother like this, that's what's going to happen. You're going to end up being a bully. You're going to end up talking about other people like this. You're going to be treating other people like this, and you're going to be a really horrible person. So I thought I'd come on and talk about that today, and see what you guys had to think about it. You know, like I say, most people who see vegans think that we're uppity. They think we're a bunch of hippies. They think we're a bunch of these people like her, where she's a yoga instructor, and that we talk above everybody else, and that we think we're great. The fact is she couldn't do half of this stuff if her husband left her. because she's got like a really nice car and a really nice house and all these really nice things. And well, fact is, she probably could, because if she left her husband, she'd probably get alimony and palimony and child support, and she'd end up living off of him like an ATM machine, like every other woman does. So she'd probably be fine. So, you know, but you can tell by the way she talked in the last video. She's just, you can see that I bet her husband is one of the most underwhelmed dudes there is. You know, to have a woman that speaks this way about other people, you can imagine how she treats her husband, you know, and even how she treats her kids. She's probably one of these people that, you know, every time her kid wants to eat something, she's like, well, that's going to make you fat and all that. You know, she's one of these probably types of moms, you know, like, you should go out jogging because you're getting chubby, and, you know, these kind of things. So it's really psychologically damaging for children to grow up with parents like this. That's not, you know, I've talked about it in another video about spanking your children. It's fine to spank your children, and you should. You know, these people who think you should count to 3 and put them in a corner are fucking idiots. But you also need to give them, you know, you need to talk to them and tell them that things they're doing are good. You know, you can't just, there's a lot of these people that have this military mindset where everything that your child is doing, you should never give them too much encouragement, because it's going to make them not want to strive to succeed or something. So you have these military guys that every time somebody says something, you know, that this is good, or I got a B, or, you know, something like that on a paper, then the parents just say, like, why didn't you get an A? You know, if you get an A, why didn't you get an A plus? You know, what, you know, that kind of thing. You should have studied harder. You know, where they're always making them try too hard, and it's really stressful on children. So you shouldn't be that way either. But you should always give them encouragement and make them feel like what they're doing is good enough, and that they've tried their hardest. And maybe they didn't try their hardest, but they tried, and you should make them feel good for that. Now, if they're not trying at all, then yeah, get on them. But you shouldn't make them feel shitty for not trying. And this woman just seems like one of these people that is probably like that. She's just like, if you get an A in your paper, she's going to be like, why didn't you get an A plus? You know, she seems like she'd be one of these type of people, especially for her son, not really the daughter, of course, you know. But yeah, because she wants her son to grow up someday and go to college so that he can take care of some woman. You know, this is how these feminists raise their kids to act this way. So tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and share, like, and subscribe. Remember, if you want to make money on your channel, to go to FilmStudios.tv. It's in the description below, and get your site approved, and you can start making money on your YouTube channel. Don't forget, I'm giving away at 5,000 subs. I'm going to be giving away a guitar, an Eddie Van Halen signed guitar. So keep that in mind. And thanks for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. Sub if you haven't. And have a nice day.
She was really overweight. But she was overweight herself. So I'm like, why am I listening to a fat lady